I scooped up this maple mid-century chair from the thrift store for $14.99, and I'm about to start stripping back this very dirty, failing old finish, reupholster it in something a little more modern, and get myself a brand new chair. Hello furniture friends, Katie here from Salvaged by K. Scott. I found this little treasure at the thrift store, gosh, I think it's been about a year ago now, but I loved the simple mid-century modern feeling lines of it and the fact that the frame is made with this really pretty maple wood. But I haven't been sure what to do with it, so today I'm diving right in without much of a plan. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is take this thing apart. And to do that, I'm just gonna follow the screws and see what happens. Where is it? There it is. Looks like we've got some groovy green under this blue. And a little stamp from the person in Quebec who reupholstered this last. I'm gonna get in there. Oh no. Need to use an extender bit. This fun little doodad is a flexible drill bit extension that just clips into my drill like a normal bit, and then I can put whatever bit I need on the other end, and this will flex and bend around to get wherever I need it to go. Come on, don't be like this. Please fit. So obnoxious. There we go. Looks like I can get these arms off too. Now that I've got things completely disassembled, I need to give this frame a good clean. And I get asked every day why I bother washing things first if I'm just gonna sand. And there are a few different reasons for that. The first is that I don't want my sander to be accidentally grinding any oils or waxes that might be on the surface down into the porous wood, because that could really wreak havoc with getting an even stain job or even paint adhesion for a new finish. The next reason is that sanding that junk will clog up your sandpaper so much faster than a clean surface will. It'll mean that you're using tons more sandpaper than you really need to, and it makes those little sanding swirls that we all hate so much happen even easier. It also gives me a chance to get up close and personal with the piece that I'm working on. And I always find something that I hadn't seen before. This chair has had a few repairs already, and they all seem to be in good condition, so I don't need to worry about them, but at least I know what's going on. Look at that pretty bird's eye. I'm gonna try and remove this finish with my sander, and I'm gonna use my little 3x4 detail sander just because I'm working on smaller surfaces and a lot of corners, and this sander fits into those better. And I think I'm gonna start with a 120 grit. I may need to move down to something a little tougher like an 80 grit, but I have a hunch 120 is going to do just fine. To help me strip sand all of these curved edges without accidentally misshaping them, I'm gonna swap out to one of these foam abrasives. These are made by Surf Prep, but you don't have to have one of their fancy sanders to use them. They make these in a bunch of different sizes to fit pretty much any sander you might have. Okay, I've got all of the finish off, and now I'm just gonna go over everything one more time by hand with some 180 grit just to smooth things out and make everything as silky as possible. Actually picked a fabric for this yet, and I'm not really sure what kind of finish I want to put on the wood because I don't know what fabric I'm going to use yet. So I think I'm just going to dig into this, see what's going on underneath, and then I'll take a trip to the fabric store, see what I can find, and make my wood staining decision from there. Gross. Okay. I drove out to my nearest fabric shop and they had all kinds of these cozy flannel plaids, and I kind of thought that might be the direction that I wanted to go in, but I didn't really see a color combo that was calling to me. So I wandered through some more of the suiting fabrics, and then I found these gorgeous faux leathers that I really liked, but they had a bit too much stretch for a seat, I think. I really love this like Sherpa boucle look, but the last time I used it, nobody else agreed. There's also all this faux fur. Maybe I should do faux fur. Okay, I got some new foam, and then I got two different fabric choices. I couldn't decide. This fur was just calling to me, and I think it would be super fun. But then they also had a really good deal on this kind of Burberry plaid. So I guess I have a decision to make. And I could always use the fabric that I don't choose for this chair to make cushions or, I don't know, anything. Upholster something else down the line. All right, I'm gonna restain all of this wood now with some of Minwax's Special Walnut, which is a really nice, dark, deep brown. I'm using a microfiber rag here to wipe the stain on one section at a time, and then just flipping it over to a cleaner, drier area to wipe back any excess. Oh, it's never as dark as I remember it being in my head. Let's see what else we have. That's too light. This is a water-based stain that has a ton of pigment in it, and I think it's gonna get me the really dark chocolatey brown that I have been envisioning. It's buildable too, so I can add a second coat if I need to. And the same premise with this, I'm gonna rub it on and then wipe back any excess, just working one section at a time. And this stuff should be dry and ready to top coat in about an hour. There we go. That's what I wanted. I did end up doing 2 coats of the stain to get the look that I wanted, and now I'm just propping it up on some painter's pyramids so that I can top coat it. And since I used that oil-based stain first, the safest thing to do so I don't have any weird oil and water reactions is to use an oil-based top coat. And I'm just gonna use a spray can of Minwax's fast drying polyurethane to make my life a whole lot easier with all of these surfaces on this chair. This is a satin sheen, and I just made sure to keep my can about 6 inches away from the surface. And I sprayed on really light coats so that I didn't have to worry about any drips or sags in the finish. I ended up applying a total of 3 coats with about 2 hours of dry time in between. And when my last coat was drying, I grabbed my electric staple gun, some staples, found some leftover batting from another project, and started working on covering those seats. And I'm so sorry to the Burberry fans. I apologize for getting your hopes up. It will show up on another project down the line, but I just had to do the fur on this chair. I traced around the wood with a Sharpie and then cut the fresh foam to size. And then I cut out some sections of batting, which were large enough that I could wrap them all the way around the edges. Then I measured out the fabric the same way and just started stapling that fur to the board, keeping the fabric as taut and tight as I could and trimming away as much extra material on the corners so that everything would lay nice and flush. To say, I quite like doing this with fur. It hides all of the staples all by itself. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Okay, now I'm gonna cut another rectangle to put on the back. Now that the poly is done and nice and dry, I'm gonna give the whole frame a rub down with one of these buffing pads that's also from Surf Prep, just to smooth out any little nubbies that might be in the dried surface. And then I'll start reassembling this chair. Listen, I know a fur chair is not for everyone, but I don't care one little bit because this chair is for me and I freaking love it. This is gonna go in my bedroom as soon as I can find a new spot for the dog's bed. But I wanna say thank you so much for hanging out with me again as I worked on restyling this piece. I hope that you have an amazing day and that some of the furniture around you in your own home makes you just as happy. I'm gonna leave a few more furniture flipping videos here for you to watch next if you're interested, and I will catch you all next time.